Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer Tryon. Welcome back. We are switching gears now. I'm putting on my apron. We are going to do some painting and some brush lettering. Thank you so much for tuning in this Black Friday weekend. We're kicking off the holidays with so many good deals and so many free tutorials, lots of inspiration. If you're visiting homemade.ca, you can find a whole plethora of what we've got going on. And kicking off in this live is going to be some cool things we've got going in the new year. We're going to have every year for the last couple of years, we've done Watercolor Wednesdays. But this year we're going to do some watercolor with it, but it's right down at the bottom. Actually, you can find our very new brush lettering basics. It's going to be free brush lettering every Wednesday in March. We're going to do a series of classes, and we've put together an amazing kit. So we'll put the link in. If you want to register early, you can do that now so that you get the whole kit. When it comes out, it's going to be shipping in March. So that's going to be something cool to look forward to in the new year, our brush lettering basics course. And yep, you can visit homemade.ca, and there'll be lots more details to come. What I can tell you is we're early days on putting the kit together. We've got almost all of the supplies in for it, which means we only have the number we have. We had to take a guess when we were ordering on how many people might sign up. The class itself is going to be free. You can tune in on Wednesdays and follow along. But if you want to have all the stuff we're going to be using, then you're going to want to take advantage of getting the kit. And if you register now, you're on early pricing. We've priced it to what we think it'll be. We still have a few more things to add to it. So my suggestion would be to pre-order the kit now if you want it. We'll put links in the comments. So how's everyone been doing? Are you guys keeping up with all the crafting we're doing today? It's been so fun. I'm going to switch gears away from sewing, away from paper crafting, into the beautiful world of watercolor. And I think brush lettering goes hand in hand. And I'm just going to show you a few samples of what we've been talking about and that we've made over the years using watercolor and some special brush lettering markers. We can show you overhead. So lots of card making has been going on. And I love just this like very, very simple watercolor wash, and then using your own handwriting to complete the front. If you were with us Watercolor Wednesdays, these are some of the cards we made during that class. But during the Watercolor Wednesdays, we were always searching for ways to incorporate our own handwriting into the cards. So if you have just a swoosh of paint like this, and that takes absolutely nothing to paint, and you want to put it on the card front or, put someone's name on this, being able to transfer your own handwriting into calligraphy is so, so cool. And over the years, I've developed quite a pen collection. I will say I keep them kind of all in these different boxes with all kinds of different supplies. Always pencils, erasers, chalk, and so lots of different markers. And I've got some favorites, and they will be in the kit for sure. Because over the years, when you've tried out so many, there's some ones that really help. And when you're wanting to do this kind of thing, and I love some of these markers. So let's just say if we wanted to say hello friend, let's say. I've already got a little watercolor down here. And it's always good to start just with a straight pencil line that you can erase. And I've got these special erasers that they're kind of gritty and sandpapery on one side and nice white rubber on the other. And they're great for taking out pen or pencil. So that's kind of a cool thing to have. I'm just looking for a small little ruler. Let me see if I've just got one handy here. Do we have a little straight ruler? There it is. I normally have like a T-square, which might be in one of those drawers there. Let me just look here. All right, I'm going to just give myself a little bit of a grid here. And I'm just going to show you what we're talking about right off the top before we get too far into making something. Let's just say we're going to do hello and then friend. So let's make the hello kind of about here, and then the friend can take up the majority of the card here. And let's do friend first. And oh, my marker is like almost shredded. For certain, I think that means the kids have been into this at some point. Let me just test this one before I bring it to my page. So I'm just on just a little tester sheet. Before I bring it to my good page, I'm just going to make sure I've got, we're kind of running out of a little bit of ink on this one. So let me freshen this up. Let's see what else I've got in black. Okay, let's try this again. So what I love about brush lettering is that no matter what marker you're using, you've kind of got this brush nib, which is flexible, like super flexible. And it's one of those things that the more pressure you put on it, the thicker your stroke becomes. And so when you're using a brush marker, and this is different than like calligraphy where you've got like the special metal nib that goes on like a quill pen. When you push harder down or softer, your line gets thinner or thicker. And so when you're doing brush lettering, it's all about how much pressure you put down on the pen. So if I'm going to write the word friend here, as I go up and down with my strokes, the pressure changes. And this is part of what we'll go through in the class. And then if we wanted to say hello, we kind of keep it a little interesting. We'll make the hello a little smaller. And just a little hello friend, a quick card. All we had is a watercolor swoosh and just a little bit of our own handwriting to help give this just like this extra special look here. And you'll be able to do stuff like this too. We're going to go through how to do all kinds of different drawing of letters. And way back a while ago, I designed a whole set of stamps and paper pads, and we had them on HSN, and it was all about, look, there's me. It was all about learning brush lettering. So I have a whole course that's available that I'll be making free to you guys. And if you want the kit, then you can grab that now. So then we have kind of final numbers on how many people are going to have the kit. And we can show you the kit. And so I designed this paper pad a while back. We had a couple of them. They sold out on HSN. It was super, super fun. So I'm happy to kind of unearth my brush lettering skills and my watercolor skills in the new year for you guys. And we can all kind of practice this stuff again together. And, you know, it's really fun doing prints for your walls, for your house, doing cards, like sweet little quick cards like that, or sitting down and trying to do something that's even kind of bigger, like a bigger kind of little landscape. And you don't have to be a super great artist to have fun with brush lettering and with watercolor. So I'm going to just do a little like, it's the most wonderful time of the year, or walking in a winter wonderland, something like that. Just a little landscape here. And we'll put some, pine trees on it. But I want the lettering to really be the star of the show here. So I've got a piece of watercolor paper, and I'm just going to kind of pencil line down just like a little slope. And it's nothing too kind of crazy. And I'm going to get out my brushes, a couple spray bottles full of water so I can hydrate my paints. And I'm going to get out some of my favorite paint palettes. If you were in Watercolor Wednesdays, you've probably got a little palette like this. You can give it a spritz and follow along too. But Christmas cards, or even something like holiday decor, is a great time to just frame up something that you made, because it doesn't have to stay up as like permanent artwork all year long. It can be just, a little now and again. And so it doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So what I'm doing here is I'm activating my colors, and I've just got a little spray bottle. Maybe you've got a bottle of water by your iron. That would also work on these. And it just activates your paints so that when you start painting, it's already ready to go. And now I've got a whole bunch of different kinds of watercolor paints. So I've got tons of tubes. I've got a more expensive palette here, like the Japanese. I think this is the Sukaneko, is it? Let me just look. There's like I think it's the Tanzi Bonsai set. I can't remember the exact name of them, but they were a few $100. And yeah, I'm getting like ink on my hands here. So activate your colors, and I'm just going to give my paper just like a good wash to start. And I'm going to take a big thick brush, a little bit of water, and just get some water like down on the page, kind of like where the sky would be. And with another brush, I'm just going to grab some blue and get it down there. Like kind of a nice, what will be a good sky blue. And let just the water do the work here. If you're in Watercolor Wednesdays, then you'll remember letting the water do the work. Just get the paint down and let the water take it where it wants to take it. As you can see, I'm just kind of like dabbing and letting the water pull the paint up. Towards the sky. And I'm going to just wash that right over. And it'll make its way up and kind of give it that natural look and feel. So when we do our brush lettering basics in the new year, you'll be able to unearth anybody who was in Watercolor Wednesdays. Unearth your watercolor kits, and we'll be adding to it. And then you'll have lots of extra pens, paper, and practice materials to kind of start your brush lettering journey. And then you can kind of marry the two. So I'm going to go ahead while this dries and give myself a little some pencil lines on where I'm going to draw my words. So what if I did walking in a winter wonderland? Because I've got a long stretch here, I could kind of go wonderland. And so that's going to be the longest. So let's make it first. So that will be wonderland. And then let's do walking kind of up much closer up the hill here. And, you know, these things are planned out. Sometimes it looks like we've just written it, you know, freehand, but if you take some time to and that's going to, let's do winter over here. And so Wonderland can kind of be the star here. So as that's kind of drying and making its way, what I love about watercolor too is that it's forgiving. If you kind of have a little too much water somewhere, you can pick it up. You don't have to stay married to something that isn't working. You can kind of change it as you go. You can add a little more, take a little away. And so here, while we've still got a little bit of water on the actual page, let's get a very thin brush. And we'll go in and I'm just going to pull some green from my palette here. My water needs to be closer to my paint. And I don't want too much water here. I don't want it to be dripping because I'm going to kind of do some trees back in the distance. So just giving that line and letting that water kind of make these look like shadowy little trees, pine trees in like a winter forest kind of thing. And I'm just doing little dabs of paint. Notice I'm not drawing like a triangular tree. I'm just going to let you watch that for a second. And I'm just going to come in here with this. You can see I'm just kind of dabbing, letting the water kind of take it. To kind of give me the look of the trees. And then the further back I want it, the lighter the color will be. So if it's way back in the distance, it can kind of be small. And if it's not working, just lift it up. Start with a little line, not too much water, and just let the water kind of take it over. A little too much water there. Dab off your brush. And if you change up the color a little, that'll help make the trees look a little more varied. And really all I'm doing here is trying to like make a little forest way back. And then coming down in. And the water is going to help make the trees look more natural. It's just like little dots kind of coming down. Swooping the ground here. What you always want to do when you're watercoloring too is leave enough white space, leave blank space for the water or for the paint to kind of escape to. Don't feel like you have to fill it in like you were coloring as a kid. And just keep going and varying the colors of the trees. The lighter they are, the more kind of off in the distance they can be. Start with like just like a skinny spine and let them kind of come out from. But you want to make sure you have watered down and that you're not always bringing paint to the dry paper. A little too much water, just pick it up. And vary up the shades of green. So notice how I kind of went in with a bit of like a more brown shade and kind of do that line, that long skinny line, and then let it kind of fade out and then bring some green over top. A little bit more in the background here. And then soon, as long as you keep building on it, you'll have a little forest of greenery. It starts to look kind of cool. If you don't worry about what the tree looks like trying to draw a perfect triangle tree, you know what I mean? You kind of just let the water take it and make it look a little natural, just kind of brush it in. You'll come up with a landscape that you might really love. So I'm going to let that dry a little while we work on a bit of the letters. So we're talking about combining brush lettering and watercolor because in the new year, we're going to do a brush lettering basics free course every Wednesday in March. And that's going to be great. And we're going to go through all about thickening your downstroke and turning your handwriting into calligraphy. So let's just do a little walking in a winter wonderland. So I'm going to write Wonderland first because that's going to sort of be the star. And, you know, the big letter at the beginning will be W. And so let's just kind of give ourselves a little bit of room here. And always be erasing. It's fine to erase. And we're not writing the letters, we're drawing the letters. So that's something to keep in mind if you're trying to do this. Is right now I'm just kind of giving myself an outline of where I think I'd like the letters to go so that I fill the whole page. It's very hard, I'm sure, for you to see right now at home. But if my flourish on the W at the beginning can kind of match my flourish on the D at the end, then we'll have some good balance on either side. And let's do a little walking here. Okay, so I've got a little sketch out. It's probably hard for you to see it here, but I'm gonna, once it's all dry and I've used my brush pen over top of it, then I can go ahead and erase those pencil marks. So I'm gonna grab, do I have a black marker? I did. There we go. And so I'm going to start with my big Wonderland, and then I'll do the rest. So we'll learn this in the course, but you'll notice that I'm lightening my pressure on the upstroke and thickening on the downstroke. And then I'm going to change pens to a thinner pen. And I'm going, I kind of went over where I wrote in so I'm just going to erase and push it over a little bit. And I'm not doing cursive here. I'm going to do regular writing. And then let's do walking. And then we've got winter. So we're going to make the flourish come around and kind of accommodate the G there. And I think we could probably, well, I think see if I can switch to my bigger pen. Like the big flourish on the R. Okay, and then we can just go in and kind of erase the pencil lines, kind of helped keep things spaced out. So I challenge you to do a little something like this. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be frameable the first time you do it. It doesn't ever have to be frameable. We can just kind of challenge yourself to go, you know what? I like the look of this. I like the feel of this. It gives me a little something different to do, a little kind of creative escape that's done just within 1 hour. I don't need a whole lot of equipment. And I can turn it into a card front or plunk it in an old frame and just bring it out in whatever season it is and feel like, oh, that was just kind of fun. A little something different. You don't have to necessarily have a degree in fine art to enjoy the watercoloring, to enjoy doing a little bit of brush lettering. And hopefully in the new year, you can kind of come on that writing journey with me as we do a little bit of brush lettering basics in March. That's something that you can register for now. And the classes are free. Just go ahead and register. That way we know to send you an email to remind you it's coming. And yeah, you can go to homemade.ca and find the brush lettering. And it's going to be in March, every Wednesday in March. So that's kind of cool. And we'll do a bit of watercoloring in there as well, because, there's, it's great. I know lots of you have watercolor sets already, and just being able to do a wash and taking a look at, just getting some watercolor down here like this, and using your own handwriting is, it's just kind of really fun. You don't need a stamp. You don't need, a special printout. You don't have to cut anything out. It's just your own handwriting. And we can show you how you can turn your handwriting into calligraphy, and with our brush lettering basics. So that's going to be in March. So it was fun to get out the paints again. I'm inspired to keep on going and shake the rust off over the holidays and get back at it in the new year. Yeah, maybe it'll be your resolution to try something new like that. We'd love to have you. So go ahead and register at homemade.ca for brush lettering. We'd love to have you. And if you want the kit, I'd say get it now, because every time we do a watercolor or any sort of kit like that, once it starts in March and it's free, and people are tuning in regularly, they're always asking for the kit, and we only have what we have. So you guys will get a good heads up if you want to get the brush lettering kit. So head on over to the website and you can do that. All right, the crafting will continue today. Thank you so much for tuning in this hour, and we'll be back later. See you soon.